Morocco has officially announced its intention to rejoin the African Union 32 years after leaving the organization. Moroccan King Mohammed-the-sixth has appealed to the AU, saying it's time for his country to return to its institutional family. He's also sent a special envoy to the AU summit in Kigali. Morocco left the regional bloc in 1984 after the organization recognized the independence of the Western Sahara. Moroccans describe the Western Sahara as part of their country's southern provinces. For more than 3 decades, the country has refused to be part of the AU, and in March it threatened to pull its soldiers out of UN global peacekeeping missions because of the dispute. Morocco remains the only African country which is not an AU member. Let's get you more on that story now. I'm joined live from Kigali by CCTV's Jen Keo. So Jen, what's the latest on that suspended vote for a new AU Commission chair? What happened?
Well, Penina, like you mentioned there, those elections have now been suspended because none of these 3 candidates garnered the required 2/3 of the votes. That's the backing of at least 36 countries. We understand the heads of state are now waiting to hear from the AU's legal council about what's going to happen next. And certainly a postponement looks more likely, which is not surprising because initially we do know that this issue has generated a lot of concern. There were issues with what many said the quality of the 3 candidates whose names had been put forward. Like you said there, it was about Uganda, Botswana and Equatorial Guinea. So if this postponement is actually confirmed, we certainly expect that there's a new list that's going to be drawn up. We're going to see new candidates. Some have been saying that this slot should be set aside for former presidents because of the clout that they carry, given that they're going to be dealing with sitting heads of state. What's unclear, though, is whether Dlamini Zuma will actually continue for the next 6 months or the deputy chair, Erastus Mwencha, will take up in an acting capacity. Penina?
Also, suddenly it looks, from what you've said, Jane, there's a lot to be done, a new list perhaps to be drawn, and this vote for now has been suspended. So when is it likely to resume?
Well, that remains to be seen, and what's most likely going to happen, like I mentioned, we are probably going to see a postponement of this vote until the January summit in Addis Ababa. And this, like I said, is not surprising. So this gives more room for people like ECOWAS. Remember, ECOWAS had actually proposed that these elections to be postponed. They wanted also to include a candidate. Senegal expressed interest. So that's what we are going to see over the next coming few months. The big question now is whether actually Dlamini Zuma will actually be staying on for the next 6 months or the deputy will be taking over in an acting capacity. And from what we understand is that the Botswana candidate was actually leading in the votes, even though she did not get the 2/3 majority. But as like you know, we've been saying Botswana is not really a favorite when it comes to the AU because of its foreign policy. It's often gone against the grain voting when it comes to voting on important matters like the ICC, when it comes to issues like commenting on elections. Plus also the heads of state of Botswana rarely attends the summit, and that's one of the issues that has really disqualified Botswana or failed to see one of the issues that has made Botswana not become a favorite here in Kigali.
All right, so let's move on to other AU news, Jane. Morocco has officially announced its intention of rejoining the AU. How has that been received by AU officials there in Kigali?
Well, so far the African Union says it's not received any kind of official petition from Morocco, even though we know that the Moroccan king has actually officially announced his country's desire or wish to rejoin the African Union after a 32-year absence. Now, of course, the AU's official position has been that Morocco must first recognize the Western Sahara region as an independent state. It was the AU that actually admitted the Western Sahara region as an independent member, and that is what caused the friction between the AU and Morocco. But so far, for there to be a readmission, there needs to be a special vote that will be held for Morocco to be readmitted to the African Union. We understand that Morocco has already sent a special envoy to try and lobby African leaders about this issue.
All right, Jen Keo joining us live there from Kigali. Many thanks, Jen.